Hello everyone, good morning. Please confirm guys if I'm clearly audible and screen visible. Very well. Okay, so hey, very good morning. Yesterday we started working on ours and saw some nitty-gritty. I know that there is a theory part which is figuring out, but before we go for a weekend break, so I would like you to be at certain level so that you can practice by yourself to a certain level. Yesterday we saw there are data types. What kind of data types? There could have been there can be several data types of a data. There could be a character, it could be numeric, and it can be logical too. Then we move ahead for data structures. I need some data structures to keep the data into. The most basic building block of any data is a vector, right? So we discussed that yesterday. So I'm just giving a very quick revision call. Anybody who will please confirm? Is my voice clear, loud and clear? No cracking, no breaking? Okay, that seems like a common thing that is happening to all. Just give me a minute. Maybe it would be better. Just go. Hi again. Just please confirm if it is clearly audible now. Is it any better? Okay, very fine. So I was just reciting what we did yesterday. Our data is nothing but some columns put together. So we are calling these columns like vector 1, vector 2, vector 3. And when these columns come together, we call it a data set. So we saw an example, say employees column So we have age column. We saw that we are recording some employee's age. We are recording their city where they work, and we are recording in a vector whether they are local employees. So local E we called it. So whether they are local or not. So now what kind of values are coming in the columns? Age, numbers. Age would contain numbers 25, 35, 45, and so on. City would be containing characters. String, yes, collection of alphabets. City names. Delhi, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, right? We saw that also. Local, whether the employee is local or not. Locally, what did it contain? It contained true and false. The logical values. True, false, true, false, true, false, and so on. What else is possible? Now I am asking you, is there anything else possible? Could there be any other kind of data? Okay, here it comes. Somebody has spoken. Okay, one is say contact number. Say there is contact number, cell number, or you know, landline number, hotline number, whatever you want to call it. What will happen if it is cell number? It is containing essentially it is contained in numbers. It starts off and it is a 10-digit number. What kind of column is this? What is the data type? Mhm. Yes, it will be. It will be a data type of numeric anyway because end of the day it is number. Now that is another thing. R will consider it is number and R will operate all the numeric operations if you run it. If you run numeric operations and these things, R will conduct that because R does not know. For R it is numbers, so its data type is numeric, and for that matter, it is all the same for R. You only you logically know that these numbers are not those numbers which should be operated with numeric operations. Okay, we'll see in detail. Another another type of column which could be is as Abhimanyu said. We have seen there can be numbers, we have seen there can be strings, we have seen there can be logicals, and then there will be columns where there can be mix and match. There is mix and match of these values. For example, for example, why same yesterday continuing with yesterday's example. In the same dataset, there is a column which records in which shift these employees work. There are 3 shifts in a day, 8 hours each, and they are recording which employee works in which shift. You have already recorded their age, city, and uh, local aspect. Now comes the problem. You have two data entry operators. One records shift like 1, 2, 3. Another one, well, he or she is more habitual of writing like it like in Roman numerals. Now this column is a mix and match. Here in the chat box, go for it. Tell me what do you see. Very well. You found it out. You realize that. So whenever there will be a mix and match, everything cannot be of single data type when it comes to vectors. If there is mix and match, so it will not be like a character will be character and number will be number and logic will be logic. If you have done some mix and match, it will follow a certain priorities. So there will be data type preference, we call it, and it goes like maximum preference is for character, then for numeric, and then for logic. So if there is mix and match happening, everything will convert into character if there is somebody character in vector. If there is mix and match of numeric and logical, everything will convert to numeric. Logical, it can be logical only when all of them are logical. So this type of mix and match will happen. There will be, because you are dealing with raw data, no? You will have this kind of mix and match, and it will follow this type of data type preference. So you should know this. In coding, it is called coercion. Here in the chat box, think for once what is happening and why it is happening. In the chat box. Pay attention to it. Look at it carefully. Remember code mass and see what is happening. And okay. So very fine. You are getting this right. Correct. What is happening? There are set of values. We are combining that into a vector, inner bracket, and then outer bracket, which is for class. Right? So there is a vector all in all, and we are trying to find the class of that vector. Now this vector contains mix and match. So according when there is mix and match, when there is mix up of data type, it is following its own preferences. Well, now coming along, indexing of vectors. Indexing means basically location. Suppose you don't have to type it. I'll send it to you. I'm declaring a vector. It is a vector of four elements, and I know that if I want to, I'm calling it my vector. If I have to, print this vector, I will call it my vector and just run it. So all the four elements they get printed. Now it is not about all the four elements. Say I want to access a particular element. I don't want all the elements. Say I want only the third element. So that's where another convention comes in, and that is the square bracket. Remember these distinctions. This parenthesis, that is, parenthesis means some function, some calculation, something that kind of thing happen. When it comes to square bracket, the square bracket means location, index. So say I see my vector, I am saying a square bracket, and I am writing number 3 there. What do you think is gonna print? What do you think is gonna happen? Which element would be printed? Yes, that's another thing which coding conscious people will have to remember. Many of you think it would be 10 because the wrong habit of, I would not say wrong habit, but it is just habit. Habit because of C and Java and maybe some portion of Python error indexes. In those languages, indexing begins at zero, not here, not up in here. In R, indexing begins at one. R में simple है भाई. One means one. So if you want to say element number one, it means index number one. Indexing begins at one in R. So if I'm saying element number three, which element I am talking about? One, two, and three. Let's test this. Let's put this to test. Is it happening? Actually, it is happening. Okay. Here in the chat box. Now that is for one particular index. What if you want to index multiple elements? Try this one. Indices. Indices. It is plural for index. Another. Index means location. I am talking about some location. When I am talking about multiple locations, it is indices. Check this one in the chat box here. What is this doing? Yes, you got it. So this is for multiple multiple indices. Colon stands for a sequence. This colon represents a sequence. It starts at somewhere and it takes all the intermittent values and then it ends the sequence. So I am saying 2 colon 4 means 2 to 4, all the values between. So it is gathering 3 elements. Now, what if I want to index, say, okay, you have indexed, you wanted third value, so that is square bracket 3. I wanted values at location 3, 2, 3, and 4. So, well, you have seen that. Say I want only location 1 and location 4, not anything in between. I want location 1 and location 4. I don't want 2 and 3. Give it a try and see for yourself. Whatever you are telling me, is it doing something? If I say it like this, I'm saying square bracket location 1 comma location 4 and I try this and there what happens? It is not happening because these are dimensions of array. If I type it like this, what it is considering it is when I putting a comma within a square bracket, it will consider these are dimensions. This is rows, this is columns. It is a 2D array for R. Now actually I don't have 2D array. It is just my vector. Right? So this is not the way. How do we mention that? Is we mention then it like a vector of locations. Okay. Here in the chat box. And don't worry about these spaces. The spaces I am doing, I use a lot of spaces just to have my code readable. So mostly spaces are just there for that. I use them. I use a lot of spaces. Then there is something called negative indexing. Negative indexing like if somebody tells me I want all the elements but 3. I want all the indices but location 3. So I will not go writing all the indices that this comma this comma this. I will not write like 1 comma 2 comma 4. it would be like here in the chat box. It is negative indexing. If I put minus sign, just have a look. It is doing what it should have done. It should have dropped element number 3. So you see, the 14 is gone and all other 3 are getting printed. Now, mind you, one more thing. One other thing that should be kept in mind is this is only printing it. What I have said my vector, print my vector barring element number 3. It has not changed anything in your original vector. Your original vector, my vector is still the same. Okay, so vector has not changed. If I type my vector again, it is still the same. So I have not changed anything there. I have just printed the result where location number 3 is not there. What if I want to change my vector? What if I want to store this change? I want to keep this change permanently. Remember overwriting? You remember overwriting? It used to happen. Yesterday we did that. So here in the chat box, run it and tell me. You getting it? What's happening here? I am just overwriting on the same variable name, and this time that would save the changes. Run it and tell me you are getting it. Yes, Nikhil, would you mention it? Would you mention it
Sir, I'm saying
for
just
once?
yes, sir. So just go to the console array and just use this up symbol till the time you get the values of my vector that you have assigned earlier.
What would happen with that? You want here me to
Sir, it would take us to the
here you want me to do
yes,
it
sir,
now
like this,
in
sir.
console. Uh,
Sir, now here we can remove it and we can press enter.
See, it would become very difficult for me to whatever you are exploring, and if you come back to it. The idea was not that if you are reassigning these values, I don't want you to do that. See, here are 4 values. What if there were 4,000 values? Would you do that? Would you go there and you will edit that? I don't think so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are getting the idea.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What would you be doing if I am telling you that remove the third value from this vector? I don't think you will do that. So that is the idea, that you are removing third value and you are storing that.
Okay, sir. Got it now, sir.
Fair? Okay. Okay, so mostly said and done. Let's come to vector operations. Think about it. Uh, you don't have to type it in. I'm just showing you on my screen. There is a vector. I'm calling it odd vector. It contains odd numbers between, well, 0 to 9. It is an odd vector. And then there is an even vector. I'm calling it. It contains even values. And now I am doing something like this. I'm saying odd vector plus even vector is equal to some total vector or added vector. I'm naming it. What will happen? What do you think is going to happen? What is your idea if you don't do it? We will ask her anyway, but what is your idea? My goodness, you people seem to be, very logical, very methodical. You people are already getting a hang of R. Yes, in R, all these operations are going to be element-wise. Say I'm saying odd vector, I said even vector, I have added them. I have added them. So how should the addition work? Addition would work element-wise. First of this, first of that. Then second of this, second of that. As you said it. Okay. So here is the chat box. Okay, you got it. You got this so far. So element-wise addition will happen and it will become resultant elements of the resultant vector. But what if a case is like this? What if elements are not the same length? What if your vectors are not the same length? Not this actually. Here in the chat box. This one, the last one. What if your addition is this kind of? Think about it. What should have happened? How is R dealing with this? You're getting the idea what's happening? This time, the length of vectors is not the same. So there would be addition. There will be addition. Element wise. But then there will be one element left out. What will happen with this? Is it so? Is it happening? Is it remaining the same? Actually not. So when there is length mismatch, the extra element will start adding with, you know, the shorter vector will again start its sequence. So this element with that element. If there was any further element, then this element, and so on. Okay, so it will happen, but not without a warning. Pay attention to control. You have added it, it is adding, it is doing it this way, but still there is a warning. So it's trying to help you that at least look out. Maybe you did not intend. All good? Fair? Going good so far? Let's see, one more thing. Or maybe, okay, give me a moment. It is a mail, you just have to copy paste in our script and run it slowly. Watch out for what are the functions. There are some things which are new to you. Try to understand what are they and how they are working, and we will discuss that. Okay. So let's take a break of 5 minutes and give 5 minutes to run this code. Okay, and we will resume after 10 minutes. I'm muting myself for that why. Okay. So very well. See you in 10 minutes. It's 11:51 by my clock.